Barely out of the delivery room, a chilling video landed on my phone. Arthur, my husband, entangled with Chloe, my protégée. Chloe, my bright-eyed junior from college, whom I had personally vouched for and placed by Arthur's side, now lay in his arms, her loyalty a shattered illusion. The double betrayal from the two people I trusted most sent tremors through my exhausted body, each shake a testament to the raw fury that consumed me. "Don't worry, darling," I heard Arthur's voice, laced with a casual cruelty that made my blood run cold. He exhaled a plume of smoke, the words tumbling out with disdain. "Eleanor, that diseased second-hand goods, would never dare ask for a divorce." His eyes, visible even through the grainy video, were brimming with utter contempt for me. While I had risked my life, enduring unimaginable pain to bring his child into the world, he was busying himself in a clandestine affair with Chloe. A bitter resolve solidified within me. "Arthur, since you dared to betray me, then I will ensure your ruin, leaving you to wallow in a regret so profound you'll wish you could turn back time." "Arthur, my stomach. It hurts so much. I think the baby's coming, please come back." My voice, a desperate whisper of pain, cracked as I pleaded with him over the phone. "If you're having the baby, go to the hospital. I'm not a doctor." His words were clipped, devoid of any warmth or concern, before he abruptly hung up. I tried calling again, but the line was dead, replaced by the relentless, mocking hum of a busy signal. Gritting my teeth, I forced myself to stand, my legs trembling beneath me as if made of jelly. Each step was an agonizing effort as I slowly, precariously, made my way into the elevator and descended to the ground floor. At the hospital, the urgency in the nurse's voice mirrored the chaos swirling within me. "Eleanor, where is your family? We need consent for the surgery immediately." Family? My family was hundreds of miles away in Cloud City. In this unfamiliar metropolis, I had only one person who fit that description, Arthur. But he was utterly unreachable. I can't reach him," I managed to rasp, the words barely audible as I bit back another wave of pain. The nurse leaned closer, her brow furrowed with concern. "What did you say? Can you speak louder?" Before I could utter another sound, a wave of darkness enveloped me, and my vision blurred. The next thing I knew, I was losing consciousness and the doctors and nurses around me erupted into a flurry of frantic activity. The harsh, icy white surgical lights beat down on my face, and I distinctly felt my body temperature rapidly slipping away. "Someone contact her. Family, quickly," a voice shouted. "We can't reach them. The phone won't go through," another responded. "Saving the mother and child is paramount. Proceed with an emergency C-section." When I finally stirred from the haze of anesthesia, I was being wheeled out of the operating room. A nurse approached, cradling a tiny bundled infant, her face alight as she assured me both I and my precious baby were safe. My first instinct was to reach for my phone to call Arthur. Then a flurry of notifications exploded across my screen. A dozen or more messages from Chloe, Arthur's secretary. I tapped into them and the videos began to play. The scene was stark. Arthur, his body pressed against Chloe's in what appeared to be his office. Chloe, her face radiating a coquettish charm, feigned a playful resistance, a subtle push and pull that was clearly an invitation. "Weren't you supposed to be with your wife for the birth today?" I heard her ask, her voice a purr. Arthur's response twisted my gut. "She's nowhere near as alluring as you are. She can have her baby, and I'll have my fun." Chloe's next question, dripping with false concern, made my blood run cold. "What if she finds out? Will she cause a fuss about a divorce?" Arthur's laughter was a harsh, dismissive sound. "She wouldn't dare. Who would want a diseased second-hand goods like her anyway?" With those words he leaned in, his lips finding hers, and Chloe with a smirk shut off the phone. Lying there in the hospital bed, tears streamed uncontrollably down my face, each drop a testament to the agonizing pain tearing through my soul. I had endured the brink of death, fighting for my life to bring Arthur's child into this world, while he was brazenly, shamelessly, indulging in an affair with Chloe. How could he possibly believe he could get away with such a blatant betrayal? He had clearly underestimated me. Chloe, my junior from college, the very person I had personally introduced to his company, the one I had specifically asked to keep an eye on Arthur for. Me, how could she do this? I had repeatedly urged her to be my eyes and ears, to watch over him. Without my intervention, her academic background and Limited experience would never have landed her a position in a top-tier company like ours. Yet, the person I sent to monitor Arthur had instead become his illicit lover. The emotional torment eclipsed any physical pain. 1,000 times worse. To be betrayed by the two people I trusted most deeply. I was nothing short of a complete and utter joke. I tried to call Arthur again. This time the call connected, but it was Chloe's voice that answered, laced with a smug, almost possessive tone. "It's Eleanor's call, Mr. Davies. Should I hang up? You're clearly busy." With my heart turned to ash, I held my newborn daughter, a tiny, precious bundle of innocence, and made a silent vow. If Arthur desired thrill and excitement so desperately, then I would ensure he got a taste of it, all the way to the very bitter end. I meticulously saved every video Chloe had sent, then subtly altered the voices and pixelated the faces before anonymously posting them to our alumni group chat. While the facial features were blurred, anyone familiar with Arthur and Chloe could easily identify the couple in the clips. Moments later, I updated my social media status. Grateful for myself, for fighting through hell to bring my child into this world. My future darling belongs solely to you. Immediately, comments flooded in asking about Arthur. I held back, letting the videos in the group chat simmer. Within minutes, someone posted a comment on my update. "Don't ask about that scumbag, he's busy cheating. If you don't believe me, check the alumni group." That single comment ignited a wildfire. The videos were shared repeatedly, and almost overnight, Arthur and Chloe became infamous across the entire university network. Arthur's phone began ringing off the hook with calls from the university. He had just been awarded Distinguished Alumnus of the Year, and was set to be a key speaker at the university's bicentennial celebration. He frantically called me again and again, but I ignored every single one. Eventually, both he and Chloe started barraging my phone, so I simply switched it off. As evening descended, Arthur and Chloe finally pushed open my hospital room door, their faces etched with exhaustion. I was busy comforting my daughter and offered them not even a glance of acknowledgement, let alone a civil greeting. "Darling, you must be exhausted," Arthur began, his voice a strained attempt at tenderness. "Yesterday was truly grueling for me. I just couldn't make it to be with you during the birth." I glanced up at him. He looked utterly sincere, and had I not seen that video, I might have actually believed his lie. Indeed, it must have been grueling for him. The videos clearly showed he'd spent the entire night tirelessly wrestling with Chloe. Seeing my silence, Chloe approached, carrying an armful of baby supplies. In a surprisingly affectionate gesture, she took my hand, a gesture entirely out of character for her. "Eleanor, big sister," she began, her voice overly sweet. "These are gifts I bought for the baby. I wish you and Arthur." She suddenly stopped, catching herself mid-sentence, realizing her blunder. Quickly, she corrected herself. "I wish you and Mr. Davies congratulations on your beautiful daughter." Cradling my daughter, I subtly moved away. Chloe's eyes welled up, and she looked pleadingly at Arthur. He motioned for her to put the items down and leave, but she showed no intention of moving. "Darling, let me hold our daughter," Arthur said, reaching for the baby in my arms. I sat on the bed, scrutinizing Chloe's face. Her left cheek was noticeably swollen, and upon closer inspection, a vivid red handprint marred her skin. Had Arthur and Chloe had a dispute? Had he struck her? Just as I was pondering the reason, my phone rang. "Eleanor, your father and I couldn't reach you yesterday. We only saw your social media update today and realized you'd given birth. Are you and the baby all right?" It was Brenda, Arthur's mother, my mother-in-law. Her call instantly illuminated the source of the slap print on Chloe's face. Today was Brenda's 50th birthday, and Arthur must have taken Chloe to the celebration. But judging by the mark on Chloe's face, they clearly hadn't received a warm welcome. "Arthur can be easily led astray," Brenda continued, her voice firm. "Now that you have a child, you need to pay more attention to him. But don't worry, if he dares to betray you, I'll make sure he pays dearly." Brenda's words sounded genuinely reassuring. With a knowing smile, I replied, "Mother, don't worry. Before I even became pregnant, I already had someone keeping an eye on Arthur. His secretary, Chloe, is actually my junior from college." At Chloe's name, Brenda paused for a moment, then said, "Eleanor, sometimes you can't entrust everything to others." Seeing that I didn't quite grasp her meaning, Brenda continued, "Eleanor, put me on speakerphone. I need to say a few words to Arthur." I activated the speakerphone, And Brenda cleared her throat. Arthur, no matter which conniving vixen has ensnared you, the only daughter-in-law I recognize in the Davies family is Eleanor. Any other unseemly woman, you had better get rid of them immediately, or you know the consequences. She hung up and Chloe's face was a kaleidoscope of emotions. Never in her life had she been called a vixen or unseemly. The air in the room seemed to solidify. I quickly stood up, trying to smooth things over. Mother is just overthinking things. I trust my husband. Besides, Chloe is working for me at the company, keeping an eye on you, so nothing could possibly go wrong. I took Arthur's hand, looking up at him innocently. Darling, you wouldn't find me less appealing now that I've just given birth and might smell of milk, would you? Arthur immediately clasped my hand, his grip tight. Of course not. Why would you even ask such a thing? I then pulled out my phone, opened the alumni group chat, and found the video clips. I held the phone up for Arthur to see, narrating as it played. I wonder which heartless man was caught red-handed cheating on his wife? His wife, just like me, just gave birth and he actually complained she smelled bad. My gaze flickered between Arthur and Chloe. Their faces had turned a ghastly shade of green and black. I walked over to Chloe, placing a firm hand on her shoulder. She flinched, collapsing onto the hospital bed in fear. I smiled sweetly at her. Sister, you really must keep a close watch on your brother-in-law for me. We wouldn't want any shameless women taking advantage of the situation, would we? A flicker of anger crossed Chloe's face, but she quickly suppressed it. She pushed my hand away. Of course, Eleanor. Big sister, you can count on me. Arthur, still holding the baby, spoke to Chloe. Don't you have work to do at the company? Why are you still here? Go back. Chloe snatched her bag, and without a single word of farewell, walked out, her face a picture of injured innocence. Arthur hummed a lullaby, gently rocking our daughter, while I idly caressed the baby items Chloe had brought. A few minutes later, Arthur's phone began to ring incessantly, his face etched with growing anxiety. I took the baby from him. If you have company matters, go attend to them. The staff from the postnatal care center will be here to pick me up soon. Arthur, his decision made, gave me a quick kiss on the forehead and hurried out of the room, phone still to his ear. No sooner had he descended to the ground floor than I received an anonymous text message. It read, "He still left you, didn't he? You lost old woman. Just wait and see." I pulled back the curtains and watched as Arthur soothed Chloe. Then they both got into a car and drove away, leaving me to my thoughts. It was clear Arthur had completely disregarded my subtle warnings and his mother's stern admonitions. I looked at my daughter, sleeping peacefully in the hospital bed, and a fierce determination surged through me. I refused to let her grow up in a family torn apart by illegitimate children vying for her father's love. Since Arthur refused to change his ways, I would ensure his utter ruin, making him truly regret his actions. At the postnatal care center, I picked up my phone and called Chloe. Her voice, though tinged with displeasure, still held an edge of subservience. As long as she hadn't secured her position as the official wife, she would have to do my bidding. Eleanor, big sister, I bought everything. Do these look all right? Chloe stood before me, almost buried under an avalanche of diaper packages. She put the items down, making an excuse to leave, but I quickly stopped her. No rush, little sister. It seems you'll have to stay here with me for the next few days. Arthur was away on a business trip, and I had dismissed the live-in nurse I'd hired. I told Arthur I wanted Chloe to help me out for a few days. On the phone, he'd sounded incredibly reluctant, and I even heard Chloe's petulant voice in the background. But the moment I invoked Brenda's name, Chloe had come running obediently. Sister, none of these will do. The quality is too poor. The baby can't use them. Could you please buy some more? Following this address, I gave Chloe an address in a different district far across the city. It was already dark, and the weather forecast predicted heavy rain in 2 hours. Chloe's face was a mask of suppressed irritation. She forced a strained smile. It's already almost dark. Can't it wait until tomorrow? I refused, feigning exasperation. With no choice, she took the car keys and left. 2.5 hours later, Chloe returned, soaked to the bone, though the diapers she clutched were perfectly dry. She dropped the items with a huff and left, clearly annoyed. Half an hour later, my phone rang. It was Arthur. I didn't even consider answering. Over the next few days, I drove Chloe to the brink of madness with my demands. Every night she'd complain to Arthur, who, as a result, cut his 2-week business trip short by half. The moment Arthur pushed open the door, Chloe rushed towards him, intending to throw herself into his arms. Arthur extended his hands, ready to embrace her, but I coughed lightly. Arthur's body shifted almost imperceptibly, and Chloe, missing her target, crashed directly into the doorframe. "Darling," I said, my voice sweet. "Why did the Alumni Association call me about that video in the group chat, asking if that scumbag was you? Have you been sneaking around behind my back recently?" I scrutinized him from head to toe. Arthur visibly tensed. "What did you tell them?" he demanded, his voice laced with anxiety. "Why, of course I said it wasn't you. Look, the invitation to the bicentennial celebration even arrived." I produced the gilded invitation and handed it to Arthur. Emblazoned across the top were the words, "Inviting distinguished alumnus Arthur Davies and his wife to the bicentennial celebration." Chloe, standing nearby, glanced at the invitation, her eyes betraying an undeniable yearning. Arthur quickly read the invitation, then tucked it into his briefcase, telling Chloe to leave first. He then settled in, holding our daughter, playing the role of the loving husband and father. "Darling, what should I wear to the celebration?" I asked, scrolling through my phone, showing him the latest designer collections. Arthur asked absently, "Are you still planning to go to the celebration?" I put my phone down, looking at him intently. "It says Arthur Davies and his wife. If I don't go, who do you plan on taking? Do you have another wife hidden away somewhere?" I looked at him with an expression of genuine inquiry. Arthur, holding the baby, reassured me. "Eleanor, darling, why are you overthinking? I've only ever loved you." He took my phone. "Here, let me help my beautiful wife choose an outfit for the celebration." After humoring me, Arthur rushed off to the company. "I understand," I said, waving him goodbye with a sympathetic smile. "The company is in its growth phase. It's normal for you to be busy." 3 days later, Chloe arrived with my custom-made suit. I took Luna to bathe. Activating the hidden camera in the room, I watched as Chloe held the suit up to her body, almost trying it on, but she held back, clearly fearing my discovery. "Eleanor, big sister, here's your outfit. And these are the diapers you asked me to buy last time. I happened to pass by and got some more." Chloe beamed, handing me the items. Before leaving, she even gave Luna a seemingly affectionate hug. Watching her hand me the diapers, I immediately called the postnatal care center's doctor. On the day of the bicentennial celebration, Arthur sent someone to pick me up, but I was in chaos at the postnatal care center. Luna had suddenly broken out in a full-body rash and was running a high fever. "Arthur, please wait for me. Luna isn't feeling well right now," I said, my voice thick with anxiety. "Darling, maybe you shouldn't go today. Could you stay and take Luna to the doctor with me instead?" I pleaded with him. Arthur's voice was sharp, impatient. "Don't you understand how important this celebration is to me? How invaluable this opportunity? Go if you want or don't, I don't care." He hung up before I could finish speaking, his impatience palpable. Staring at my daughter, who was finally asleep, I opened my phone and went to Chloe's video account. Chloe had just posted a new video, showcasing the gilded invitation. She had even deliberately drawn a line under the word wife. In the video, she was dressed in the exact same custom-made suit as mine, adorned with a dazzling diamond ring and linked arm in arm with Arthur. Her caption read, "Returning to my alma mater for the bicentennial celebration as the distinguished alumnus's wife. Feeling absolutely beautiful." She truly yearned for fame, even tagging the university's official account. I quietly took a screenshot and, with a subtle click, paid to boost her video's visibility. If she wanted to go viral, why shouldn't I help her achieve her dream? The doctor from the postnatal care center knocked on my door, holding Luna's test results. I read every single word on the report, and a tidal wave of fury surged through me. Chloe, you truly are ruthless, resorting to such despicable methods." I folded the report, walked out, and got into a car bound for the university. "Arthur, you wish to use this celebration to network and climb higher. Chloe, you yearn for fame. Well, at this celebration, I shall grant you both your wishes." In the car, I opened the video app and watched Chloe's replies to the comments on her video. "Big sister is so impressive. Distinguished alumnus's wife. Her husband must be even more amazing. Oh, he's just exceptionally good, that's all. Sister, you're incredible. I'm a volunteer at the event. Can I get your autograph after it's over? Of course, darling. But my handwriting isn't great. My husband's is beautiful, and he promised he'd sign for you. Just scrolled through sister's profile, truly beautiful and capable. Working at a top-tier company like F. Oh, not that impressive. It's mostly my husband's company, actually. Sister, I declare you my one-of-a-kind, unique big sister. You must be so hardworking. I want to learn from you. Just a little effort, maybe 40%. Wow. B University's 200th anniversary celebration is strictly invitation only. I'm just a commoner who's never attended. The Distinguished Alumni Hall isn't even open to the public. Sister, could you live stream it? I just asked my husband and he said yes. When things quiet down, I'll do a live stream for everyone. Chloe must have been backstage, waiting. She was meticulously replying to every flattering comment, and her video, thanks to its high engagement, quickly climbed to the top of the trending topics for the event. With such high organic engagement, I wouldn't even need to spend more money promoting it. At the entrance of B University, without an invitation, I was stopped by a security guard. Madam, would you like me to call Mr. Davies? The driver asked. Simply had him drop me off at the main gate. I made a phone call, then handed the phone to the guard. He then personally escorted me to the celebration venue. The venue was already set, with major media outlets and numerous internet celebrities poised for live broadcasts. Distinguished alumni were seated in the front rows. In the second-to-last row of the distinguished alumni section, I spotted Arthur and Chloe. They truly looked like a perfect match. Arthur, the dashing new commercial elite, and Chloe, the delicate flower-like beauty playing the part of his devoted wife. Even I, his legitimate wife, couldn't help but acknowledge their seemingly flawless presentation. Madam, please, if you would follow me to the first row. A volunteer approached and politely escorted me to the very front. No sooner had I settled into my seat than I saw Arthur, glass in hand, mingling and networking with the important figures in the first row. He was so absorbed in conversation with the high-profile attendees that he didn't even notice me. The celebration commenced with speeches from the university officials, followed by alumni donations and a joint ribbon-cutting ceremony. These tedious proceedings bored me to no end. I opened my video app, and Chloe's live stream immediately popped. She was streaming from a first-person perspective, an angle that perfectly captured her and Arthur's tightly clasped hands, as well as the distinguished alumni section sign. Unable to speak freely, she interacted with her audience through text. My husband is about to go on stage to give his speech. Everyone, remember to clap loudly. Just as I scrolled past that comment, the distinguished alumnus speech segment began. 5 alumni were invited to speak, and Arthur, being the lowest in rank, was the first to take the stage. He looked out at the audience, a picture of smug triumph. But then his eyes landed on me, seated in the front row, and a flicker of panic crossed his face. He rubbed his eyes as if unable to believe what he was seeing. Seeing him staring blankly, I gave him a small symbolic wave. The host prompted him to speak, and he mechanically recited his pre-written speech. Which one is Big Sister's husband? The one who just spoke was so handsome. Is that Big Sister's husband? A netizen watching from the celebration asked Chloe in the comments, but she only replied vaguely. After delivering his speech, Arthur remained on stage as 3 other distinguished alumni took turns speaking. Next, let us invite the outstanding representative of our distinguished alumni, Mr. Ethan Jones, to the stage for his address. A thunderous round of applause erupted. Ethan, seated beside me, rose with a calm smile and ascended the stage. He delivered his pre-prepared speech precisely. As he neared the end, his expression turned serious. I believe everyone saw the video circulating in the alumni group a few days ago. He began. As someone with a background in technology, I've managed to restore that video, and I can confirm the individuals in that video are right here in this hall. At his words, a ripple of shock spread through the audience, and Arthur's face instantly went pale. Ethan suddenly turned and walked directly towards Arthur, stopping right beside him. Countless eyes in the audience were fixed on Ethan and Arthur. Ethan extended his hand to Arthur. Mr. Davies, I hear your company specializes in technology. I'm very interested in your firm. I wonder if there's an opportunity for you and your wife to join me in planting this year's evergreen tree. At that very moment, Chloe posted a message in her live stream. I'm about to go on stage. Babies, I'm so excited. The moment her comment appeared on the screen, her live stream audience erupted. Big Sister's husband is Arthur Davies. He's so handsome. A perfect match for Big Sister. Big Sister is so lucky. She gets to personally plant the 200th anniversary evergreen tree. Sister, don't stop the live stream. I want to see the first-person view of the tree planting. It's like I'm planting it too by extension. Arthur, trembling, nervously extended his hand and respectfully agreed. At this point, the host, realizing it was a false alarm, quickly moved on to the next segment. We now invite Mrs. Davies to join Mr. Jones and Mr. Davies on stage to plant the evergreen tree. Arthur's forehead was slick with nervous sweat. I quietly closed my phone and slowly stood up. And with me from the second to last row, Chloe also rose. What's going on? Ethan asked, a sly smirk playing on his lips as he looked at Arthur. Does Mr. Davies happen to have 2 wives? Before I could speak, Chloe behind me could no longer contain herself. She's a fake, she shouted, her voice shrill. I am Mrs. Davies. The moment the words left her lips, every eye in the room turned to her. Indeed, according to the seating chart, she was seated next to Arthur, which would suggest she was Mrs. Davies. Mr. Davies, which one truly is your wife? Ethan pressed, his voice laced with an undeniable challenge. How about this? He continued. Let's have Mr. Davies come down from the stage and lead his wife by the hand up here. Ethan's words had backed the host into a corner. There was little he could do but comply. Arthur's steps were agonizingly slow as he descended the stage, each one heavy with dread. Chloe was already standing in the aisle waiting for him to take her hand. Arthur, standing at the foot of the stage, looked up at me, then back at Chloe in the rear, utterly lost as to which way to turn. Chloe quickly took 2 steps towards Arthur, calling out, "Darling," in a sugary voice and affectionately linking her arm through his. But when she turned to greet the other attendees and caught sight of me, her expression was more startled than if she'd seen a ghost. Madam, are you feeling unwell? If you wish to leave, our volunteers can escort you out. The host, seeing that Arthur had apparently found his wife, kindly advised me to sit down. Several ladies who had been chatting animatedly with Chloe earlier now rallied to her side, motioning for security to remove me. The host also stood near me, subtly urging me to either leave or sit down. I extended my hand, asking for the microphone. At Ethan's nod, he handed it to me. I cleared my throat. Hello everyone, I am Eleanor Davies, Arthur's wife. At my name, members of the audience who knew Arthur began to murmur. Wasn't Arthur Davies married to Eleanor Wright, the only daughter of Richard Wright, the head of the Wright family in Cloud City? Her name was Eleanor, I think. At that moment I walked deliberately, step by painful step, towards Arthur. I raised my right hand, aiming it squarely at Arthur's face, which had become a mask of utter horror. The audience gasped collectively. The host quickly cut the live feeds from all major media outlets. My hand gently landed on Arthur's shoulder, and I calmly straightened his crooked tie. Darling, I whispered softly, so it's true you really did have another Mrs. Davies hidden away. With those words, I turned gracefully and walked onto the stage to shake Ethan's hand. Arthur and Chloe stood below, utterly mortified. Their grand opportunity for fame and recognition had, in that single moment, dissolved into nothingness. But this was not enough, not even a fraction of the pain they had inflicted upon me. Mr. Davies, Ethan's voice rang out, laced with undisguised mockery. We're about to plant the tree. Have you still not found your wife? Arthur woodenly ascended the stage. Chloe desperately clung to his arm, refusing to let go, making one last desperate struggle. Arthur, let's just leave now, all right? Her voice was laced with a tearful tremor, but she had severely overestimated her importance in Arthur's heart. Arthur violently shook off her hand, then walked, step by heavy step, towards Ethan and me. So, shall this lady please sit back down? No, wait, if you're not Mrs. Davies, technically you have no right to be here. Ethan continued, his words cutting. All eyes were on Chloe. The host quietly signaled for security to escort Chloe out. Since she's already here, I interjected quickly, why don't we let her help us with the tools? After all, she is my husband's secretary. Such a small task shouldn't be too difficult for her, right? I smiled sweetly at Arthur, but he remained silent. I continued, please, excuse us. My husband's secretary is still live streaming, and tens of thousands of netizens in her live stream are waiting to see the first-person view of the evergreen tree planting. After all, it's an opportunity she worked so hard to sleep into existence with my husband. Chloe was escorted onto the stage by security. She stood there, clutching the tools and carrying a water bucket, fulfilling her service duties. After the evergreen tree was planted, Chloe could no longer contain herself. She threw the tools down with a clang, then pointed at me, her finger shaking, and screamed, "Eleanor, what right do you have to do this to me? Arthur stopped loving you ages ago. You don't deserve to be here." Perhaps the shock I delivered was too potent. Chloe had finally snapped. "Indeed," I replied calmly. "According to your plan, I should be in the hospital right now, holding my daughter and wallowing in sorrow." At my words, a wave of panic washed over Chloe's face. She frantically denied it. "What are you talking about? I don't know anything. What does your daughter's allergy have to do with me?" "Did I say my daughter had an allergy?" Chloe froze. She stammered. "It was Arthur. No, Mr. Davies, he told me." "You guessed wrong, Chloe," I said, a cold smile on my lips. "Arthur didn't even listen to the end of my call." I paused, then added, "Of course I have you to thank for tampering with the diapers. If it weren't for the yam sap you applied, I would have struggled to lower your guard and Arthur's." Ethan stood by, watching the unfolding drama with an amused expression. The host, seeing the situation spiraling out of control, tried to disperse the audience, but no one moved. "This is the lab report. Arthur, see for yourself what Chloe has done." I tossed the report at Arthur's face, but he remained silent. "Oh, excuse me, I forgot," I said, addressing the crowd. "You already despised me and our daughter. See, after giving birth, my memory is terrible." It was all so clear in that video. My words confirmed the audience's suspicions, and murmurs spread through the hall. If it weren't for the right family, he wouldn't be where he is today. His wife risks her life for their child, and he goes off to have fun. You can't trust a man like that. I get it now. Arthur Davies is finished this time. I cleared my throat, took the microphone, and addressed the stunned crowd. "Today, I sincerely apologize for taking up your valuable time. I, Eleanor Wright, ask all of you to bear witness. My marriage with Arthur Davies has reached its end. From this day forward, his personal actions and his company's dealings have no connection whatsoever to me or the Wright family. Furthermore," I continued, "the Wright family's investments in his company and all collaborative projects will be withdrawn. I can assure you all that for any projects from which the Wright family withdraws, if you still trust the Wright family, I will compensate everyone at the highest market value, and am willing to continue our partnerships." As soon as I finished speaking, Arthur collapsed to his knees, clutching desperately at my clothes. "Eleanor, I know I made a mistake. Please, I promise I'll change. Don't be so heartless." I forcefully pulled my clothes from his grasp and walked off the stage with Ethan. Arthur tried to get up and grab me, but Chloe suddenly seized his hand. "Arthur, didn't you say you couldn't stand her anymore? Didn't you say after the celebration you'd transfer assets, divorce her, and marry me? Don't try to win her back, she's not worth it." Arthur, fueled by rage, delivered a powerful slap across Chloe's face. This blow was far harder than Brenda's. A trickle of crimson blood seeped from Chloe's lips. "Shut up. You've ruined everything." Arthur shoved the clinging Chloe away and ran towards the auditorium exit. Ethan signaled the security guards to intercept him. Reporters, microphones in hand, clamored to interview me. Just 2 meters away, Arthur could no longer get closer to me. I responded to their questions with a serene smile, and Chloe's live stream content was trending on social media. The provocative video she had sent me was also released. Just as she wished, she had indeed become famous through the bicentennial celebration. Just a little effort, 40%? The other 60% must have been in bed then. How can someone be so arrogant? A mistress who not only taunts the wife while she's giving birth, but also dares to impersonate her at such a major event. Her audacity is truly one of a kind, unique. B University should expel her. Quick, investigate. She's so practiced, this might not be her first time. After the interview, I sat in the VIP lounge. Arthur remained outside, pleading desperately to see me. Ethan brought me a warm drink. "Do you want to see him?" "Not, I'll have someone escort him away." I watched the steam rise from the cup, pondering the question myself. Should I give Arthur one last chance to explain? In a moment of hesitation, my phone rang. It was Brenda, my mother-in-law. Out of respect for her initial support, I answered. Eleanor, you've gone too far this time. What good does ruining Arthur do for you and the child? Arthur made a mistake, but I've already punished him. You shouldn't be so petty. I listened quietly as Brenda continued to lecture me. Years ago, Arthur loved you so much. He married you despite your heart condition. You and the right family owe him that gratitude forever. Seeing my silence, she pressed on. You've ruined Arthur's reputation. People will say you have poor judgment, and your child will be affected by the rumors. Be magnanimous. Hold a press conference. And say it was all a misunderstanding. I'll give Chloe a sum of money to ensure she never appears before you again. Brenda's words extinguished the last flicker of pity I held for Arthur. Your attitude changed so quickly because Chloe is pregnant with Arthur's son, isn't it? I countered. She stammered, confirming the information I had uncovered. Arthur's audacity in bringing Chloe to the celebration was entirely due to the child she carried. Don't talk nonsense. Arthur isn't that foolish. Only you can bear a child for the Davies family. Brenda continued to assure me that Arthur would love me even more after this incident. Do you? No. I said, my voice sharp. Just moments ago, I was considering giving Arthur a chance. You, Brenda, personally threw that chance away. And about Arthur marrying me all those years ago. Do I really need to spell out his true motives? I hung up, then blocked all contact numbers from the Davies family. I told you so, didn't I? Not a single good person in the Davies family, and you just had to jump into that fire pit, Ethan said, a triumphant look on his face. I never thought I'd lose to you this time, I admitted, taking a sip of my warm drink. I'll accept my punishment. Upon returning to the postnatal care center from the celebration, I found a disheveled Arthur. He was still wearing the custom-made suit from the morning, now stained with unknown liquids, looking dirty and pathetic. Eleanor, I knew you'd come back. Please give me a chance to explain, all right? His eyes were filled with desperate pleading. I turned to leave, but he quickly scurried to block my path. Arthur, can't we just part ways amicably? No. Please, just one more chance. Arthur, think about how many chances I've given you. Did you ever seize them? He clutched at his hair in frustration. I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. I've been humiliated today. The company is on the verge of collapse. I've been punished enough. I truly love you. Nothing else matters as long as you don't divorce me. I scoffed. You love me? Then what about Chloe? She was just a tool to vent my desires. That period when you were pregnant was so difficult for me. And she seduced me. That's why. I made a mistake, but I know better now. Don't worry, I'll take care of her. Arthur quickly promised, desperate to reassure me. And the child she's carrying? I pressed. How do you plan to handle that? Eleanor, darling, don't worry. If you just forgive me, that child will never see the light of day. I won't cause you any more trouble. Arthur's eyes sparkled with excitement, clearly believing I was negotiating with him. Before I could speak, Chloe, who had been hiding in the shadows, rushed out. She furiously pounded on Arthur, screaming, That's not what you said back. Then, how could you be so heartless? That's your child in my belly. I had no idea Chloe was lurking there. I quickly pressed the alarm button on my phone. What did I say back then? Chloe, if you're smart, take your bastard and leave this city. I'll compensate you. Arthur tried to offer Chloe a final way out. But she wouldn't be satisfied. She never wanted just money. Arthur, are you serious? Chloe wiped away her tears, her voice raw with accusation. Of course. If you leave, I'll compensate you, Arthur replied, believing he had resolved the situation with Chloe. But the next second, Chloe pulled out a gleaming knife and swung it wildly towards Arthur's neck. He swiftly dodged, but the blade still sliced a long gash across his face. Seeing the situation turn dangerous, I screamed for help. Being in the VIP area and during off hours, there were no staff members around. My cries startled Chloe. She turned, clutching the knife like a madwoman, and staggered towards me, muttering, It's all your fault. If you die, Arthur will marry me. Just die. I sidestepped, dodging her attack, and she stumbled, falling to her knees. Her forehead hit the wall with a sickening thud. Arthur then kicked her from behind. Chloe, have you lost your mind? How dare you touch Eleanor? He stepped in front of me, shielding me. Eleanor, don't be afraid. I'll protect you. The next moment Chloe collapsed lifeless. Arthur's kick had sent the fruit knife she held plunging precisely into her heart. She coughed up great gouts of blood, and with a tremendous effort, she lifted a trembling finger pointing at Arthur. You'll get what's coming to you, Arthur Davies. I'll haunt you even in death. The police rushed out of the elevator, apprehending Arthur, who stood beside me, and closed Chloe's eyes, now staring blankly into the void. Arthur was subsequently indicted for intentional homicide. The high-definition surveillance footage from the postnatal care center was crystal clear. Chloe had hit her head and was already incapacitated. Arthur, fully aware she held a knife, had still kicked her with full force. This clearly indicated he had no intention of letting Chloe leave alive. Arthur vehemently denied it, insisting it was self-defense. But the evidence was irrefutable. No matter how many times he appealed, the verdict remained unchanged. Eleanor, please help me. You don't want our daughter to have a murderer for a father, do you? Arthur pleaded, even as the police dragged him away, clinging to his last shred of hope. Don't worry, Ethan said, his voice cold and definitive. Her daughter's father will absolutely not be you. You'd best worry about yourself. At Ethan's words, the last spark of light in Arthur's eyes extinguished. 3 years later, my daughter Luna still occasionally asked where her father was. Ethan always encouraged her to call him Daddy, but I would patiently yet firmly tell her again and again that her father had died the day she was born. To make her believe me, I even prepared a symbolic tomb for Arthur. When Luna is a little older, I'll take her to see her father, who died 3 years ago. You really went to too much trouble, Ethan said, a gentle smile on his face. It would have been so much better for Luna to recognize me as her father. My daughter, Ethan Jones's daughter, would be so happy. Seeing my silence, he continued. Eleanor, are you truly not giving me a single chance? You guessed correctly, I replied, my voice soft but firm. Don't waste any more of your time on me. It's not worth it. For the rest of my life, I, Eleanor Wright, will only trust myself. I will never again foolishly place all my hopes on a man whose heart can change at any moment. The mistake I made once, I, Eleanor Wright, will absolutely never repeat. Not even if that man is Ethan Jones. The only one I can truly rely on is myself.